pollution in the capital, Accra, and helping us through that discussion was our colleague in the newsroom, Ajua Tinkrama Domina, who also anchors our prime news bulletin on City 97.3 FM. If you missed any aspect of that report, you could go back on ChannelOne TV's YouTube account where that full report is there. Watch for yourself, really, the devastation happening in our water bodies in the capital and even beyond. But for now, we shift focus to talk about nutrition, right? A very important conversation with, I can say she's more like a regular now, of a sort, really, on the show. Gloria, Darko, a registered dietitian with Disia Diet Consult and Medical Catering, joins us in studio on the conversation on cardiovascular nutrition. Sounds very broad and technical, but trust me, after listening to what she has to say on this, you get all the deep insights and a complete breakdown on this conversation. Gloria.
Hi.
Welcome to Sunday Breakfast.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
How did the week go for you?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Yes.
You can't complain.
Not at all.
Oh, that's good to hear. Interesting. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're still sticking with heart health. Today is World Heart Day, and we're talking about nutrition for the heart. So let's start with what at all is cardiovascular nutrition?
Okay, so you have answered the question you
I
just
have.
asked. Yes. So everything cardio has to do with the heart. The vascular has to do with like the vessels. So in general, it's just nutrition for the heart. So making sure you are eating a heart-healthy diet. That's basically
A heart-healthy diet.
what cardiovascular nutrition is.
So in essence, there are foods that you eat that could protect your heart.
Yes.
Wow. And what are some of these foodstuffs?
Okay. So we take it from a more general angle in terms of principles. So there are a lot of foods. We can't exactly like mention all of them or pinpoint specific ones. But if you are eating a healthy diet and including a little bit of some other things, they will be able to help protect the heart. So generally, we are looking at our micronutrients. So when you take aside your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, all the other nutrients fall under micronutrients. So you have your vitamin C, your D, your calcium, your B vitamins, your sodium, your potassium, magnesium. And these ones I'm mentioning, they play active roles in terms of maintaining the integrity of the heart muscles and then also helping with contraction and relaxation of the heart, because that's what it takes to get the heart to pump blood. So if you eat from food groups that contain this kind of nutrients, in turn, you're going to help your heart to function properly.
It's interesting because just before you came on the show, we had a conversation with a doctor, Dr. Zakaria Adam, and it was centered on hypertension and in a way also focused on care for the heart, right? And she mentioned that, even though there were no known signs and symptoms of hypertension, it could have very devastating implications and lead to other complications. She mentioned stroke, she mentioned even heart failure, right? So back to what we are discussing with regards to cardiovascular nutrition, what are some of the ailments, right, that paying attention to your cardiovascular nutrition could prevent you from getting into contact with?
Okay, so just as you rightly said, some include stroke. We have the arterial diseases. So something like when you have high levels of LDL cholesterols, they can form plaques in the vessels and then cause a blockage. So blood cannot flow. Yes,
wow.
Blood cannot flow properly through the heart.
That sounds very fatal.
And even having that can lead you to get what we call myocardial infarction. So there'll be tissue death at a particular site of the heart where oxygenated blood is not getting access to, because the heart needs oxygen to be able to metabolize all the nutrients and then the energy that it needs to have.
Wow. So if you don't have blood flowing through your veins to your heart, that's like, you're as good as dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
the way she simply said, yeah.
Wow. So it means that what we eat is very important.
Very, very important.
But I wish you could just go over the food specific or the food stuff that we should pay attention to when we talk about care for the heart, then maybe you could add on to the quantities really involved in making sure that we don't overeat or undereat some of these foodstuffs.
Okay. So I have a slide in here that talks about the Mediterranean diet. So if that could be projected.
Don't put it up, don't worry. If you could just run it through. Yeah.
All right. So that focuses on you eating more of whole grains and then doing less of saturated fats, doing less of sweets. So if you are looking at the slides right now, you see that
Could you
it's a
walk us through
pyramid.
it?
Okay, sure.
Yes, so just so that we don't miss any parts. Thank you.
All right.
So it's a pyramid.
Yes.
So bottom up or top down?
Top down.
Okay.
All right. So starting from the top of the pyramid, these are the things you have to eat less often. So this is where your meat falls, and then your sweets, because we are humans. Occasionally we'll do sweets, there's sugar-sweetened beverages, the chocolates and all that. But when you have it in moderation, it's not going to be detrimental.
Okay.
So occasionally you do this ones. Meat is in this group because of the saturated fats content of meat.
So less often.
Yes, less often.
Can you give us what, like once a week? You know, well, let's practice. Put something to it so that we know that.
Because I have a sweet tooth, so
Yeah.
let's
So less often. Are we looking at
I have a
4
power.
times a week, 4 times a month, once a week,
Okay.
once every 30 minutes?
All right.
Yeah.
So the ones at the top there, which is for the sweets in particular, you can make it occasional. So
Every day is an occasion.
No, so everything can be an occasion.
Oh, every day is an occasion.
So-
You're alive. It's
Oh,
an
yeah.
occasion.
But when it comes to consuming the sweets,
Sweet.
you don't make every day an occasion. Say maybe once in like 2 weeks, you
Okay.
have a few candies, a few biscuits.
Once in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Yes.
Okay.
And then for your meat, you can actually have meat like every week. So let's say maybe twice every week. But then it also depends on the kind of meat.
Okay.
So to make it more practical, if you're having meat, you always make sure that wherever you can see visible fats, you trim that fat off it. So you don't consume the fat. That's what people like, the fatty aspect of the meat. Yes, fat makes things nice. So you don't consume those fats. You trim it off. Have the meat itself.
Yeah.
At least you've been able to take out some of the fats.
True.
And then we come to the second part, which is what you can have weekly. So on a weekly basis, moderate portions of your poultry, your eggs, your cheese, your yogurts. So eggs, poultry, cheese, they all have some amount of fat in them. So the body needs the fats, but not in higher quantities. And things like your cheese, your yogurts, depending on what culture was used to make it, it will either be high in fat or low in fat. That's why it's also here in moderation as well. Then we come to the ones we can have more often. So these were our regular proteins, the good ones, like your fish, even your seafood as well. Yes. So even though seafood also contains some amount of cholesterol, it's not as high as what you would find in meat.
The meat, okay.
So you can do these ones. You can do your oily
So
fishes.
your calamari, your squid,
Yeah.
your shrimps, your fish, your octopus,
oysters.
your oysters. Those are better.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can have your oily fishes as well. So your salmon, your mackerels, your tilapia.
Sardine?
Yes. Sardine, I would
Some-
say yes.
some way.
But it depends on who's asking.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the fish also contains omega-3.
Okay.
And omega-3 has certain factors in there that protects the heart. So that's why they are here. You can do them more often. And this is your everyday. So, your everyday is an occasion. This is what you should use. This is what you should use for your everyday occasion. So these are what we call the protective foods.
Okay.
So they are very rich in the micronutrients I was talking about. Your magnesium, your selenium, your B vitamins. We find all of these things here. And this is where our whole grains come into play. We have our legumes, we have our nuts and seeds, which are the ones that contain the higher amounts of the magnesium, the selenium, those ones. Yes, so these are what you should do on a daily basis, your vegetables. So from last week's conversation, I made mention that at every meal, you make sure half of your plate is covered in vegetables. Yes. So this is where those ones come in. And then your healthy fats. your herbs, your spices, they all fall in this range. And when I said healthy fat, somebody might be wondering which one is the healthy fat. So all plant-based oils do not have cholesterol.
True.
So they are healthy fats. But we are looking at it more from the angle of saturated and then unsaturated. When you have oils that have high amounts of saturated fats in them, that's what the body uses to produce cholesterol. So it can in turn be detrimental. So something like olive oil is rich in what we call monounsaturated fatty acids. So those ones are shorter chain fatty acids. So the body is able to absorb them immediately and then break them down, use them, so you don't accumulate most of those. So you have olive oil on the top there. Then it comes to our other plant oils like your canola, your corn, your sunflower. Those ones fall in this range now. And you also have to make sure that you're exercising. That's at the base of the pyramid. So these two are very, very important. You can't miss out on any one of them.
And what's happening in the middle there, the family setting?
Okay, so this is just trying to foster healthy eating habits. You know, when you eat in groups, you are able to like eat better. You have your array of different vegetables, dishes. People don't like to eat in isolation. It's not nice when you eat in isolation. So that's what that's trying to
eat with me.
But you're always on your phone.
When I'm eating,
Yes.
you know the job.
Oh,
the job.
Master. In my house or in my auntie's house, anytime you go there, the phone is always asked to be set aside. Please have a seat and then we can continue. And I see moderation, wine in moderation, but you let me finish my story.
No, you I don't know what is triggering you.
It's triggering me, but we'll come there. So anytime we're having a family meal, phones aside, and you know who's always the culprit? The one who tells us to put our phones aside, which is my dad. He'll pick up his phone and say, hey, it's a message from work. We're like, no, family time, no phones. I see Gloria.
Yeah.
Gloria, don't like my matter. In moderation. Why?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, so that's an outlier. It's outside the pyramid. Yes, it's there for a reason. So if you take alcohol in higher quantities, it acts as a vasoconstrictor, so it can cause your vessels to constrict and then prevent blood from flowing through properly. Right. So chronic alcohol use can even make you get hypertension, which will in turn affect your heart.
So it's not just wine, it's
not
alcohol,
just wine, alcohol in general.
Okay, and then I see water is also outside.
Of the content of alcohol.
Yes.
Wow.
And the quantity?
So in moderation.
Well, moderation means like the whole bottle at a sitting, at a dinner sitting.
So for alcohol like beer, the ones with like 5% alcohol, not too much alcohol, men can do 2 bottles at a sitting, women can do 1. That's what research said. I didn't say it.
Some of them, they drink it cold. 4 at the go, women.
And they say mortuary grade beer. 19.
The beer, no.
Mortuary
the one that is
grade
not in the
beer.
fridge, hot from the crate, no, put it on the table. 3 at the go. But it's a red flag, though.
Red flag.
Yes.
At this point, it's a red canopy.
It's a red canopy. Interesting. Wow.
And
then water is also outside the pyramid.
Yes.
Why?
So water doesn't qualify as a nutrient. That's why it's also out there. So you have to you need to have water in adequate amounts. So that brings us back to the discussion we had on hydration.
Right.
Yes, if you're hydrated enough, that is going to prevent your blood pressures from going up. And then also make sure that you have enough fluid in the blood and then everything is flowing perfectly as it's supposed to do.
You talk about physical activity and the need for it. We also have, or in recent time, we've seen a lot of people also engage in physical activities that involves exercising, going to the gym, right? And accompanying that is also the intake of a lot of supplements, what they call supplements. Sometimes they say protein supplement, protein shake.
Whey
they have
supplement.
all sorts of fanciful names for that. Where does that fall really in this nutrient pyramid, right? Is this something that you'd encourage or advise, especially for those who exercise, do heavy duty work?
Okay, so that's more in those who are trying to like build muscles.
Build muscles.
Yes.
But some people take it for, maybe they're sports people even, right? So they drink all of this hydrated water, supplements, nutrients this, nutrient that. I just want you to advise from a professional perspective what the appropriate way of going about it should be. Because I see people take them every day.
Okay.
People take them almost every other time, right? So what's happening there?
But Gloria, before you answer, let me just put our WhatsApp numbers out there again. So 0204-447-033. Any questions for Gloria on nutrition for your heart, send it to the WhatsApp number 0204-447-033. Yeah, you can go ahead and answer.
Okay, so I would say before you use any of those things, you need to consult a professional, which will in this case be a registered dietitian or a registered nutritionist to guide you, because these things, like you're saying, for instance, like the protein supplements, we'll do some calculations. You need to factor that into your total protein intake for the day. So it will in turn inform how much you are putting in whatever shake or drink you're having. At the same time, when it comes to supplements, it's a little bit dicey, because the nutrients you get in supplements, they are what we call readily bioavailable. So after taking them, you have higher amounts in the blood. Too much of some of these nutrients can also pose challenges. They become toxic in the body. So that's why you need to see a professional, and then you regulate it. And if you can't get it from your diet, why get it from a supplement?
True.
Gloria, let's stay with the exercise. What kind of exercise should I be doing?
Okay, so pertaining to the heart, research is showing that if you are doing more of aerobics, that has cardioprotective factors. So your brisk walking, your skipping, your jumping, your swimming, playing tennis.
So anything to get my heart pumping?
Yes, so that it improves circulation.
Then yesterday I did a bit of walking, and then even my walking app was extremely happy for me.
Wow. Gloria, thank you so much. I've learned a lot today. Honestly, the nutrition pyramid, or the Mediterranean pyramid, like you call it, made a lot of sense to me, and I'm sure our viewers also have picked up a lesson or two from it. But like we always do on the show, before you leave, I want you to first of all sound a word of caution, and also advice on what you would describe as the non-negotiable when it comes to the topic we are discussing on cardiovascular nutrition. Basically, what should we not do that could like jeopardize our already complicated situation?
Okay, so the first thing would be too much alcohol consumption, and then being dehydrated, so not having enough water. And then in terms of the food, making sure that you're not consuming too much fats, which will be like the saturated sources of the fats. And then also making sure that you're not having too much of processed foods, refined foods, since they do not have the protective factors like the fiber that your whole grains comes with.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And finally, before you go, I don't know if anyone has any other questions, but where can we find Desua Consult? Just because I get a lot of people want to reach out and you're not sure where to find you, so maybe you could just share with us before we wrap up.
Desua Diet Consult, where is it located?
Okay, so
you're on social media as Desua Consult, right?
yes, social media on Desua Consult.
So when they send a message, you get active responses.
Yes, they will.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Gloria, for your Mediterranean pyramid. I'll keep it in mind. But the less often one, Charlie, come again. You have to, we agree, we've taken it.
Okay.
But we are managing it. Yeah, because sometimes the drink is nice. Yeah, it's nice. The soft ones. You feel like, because I have people say after every meal, they have to drink like a soft drink, right? So some soda drink or something, and it's become like a habit. Maybe the next time we should talk about breaking habits.
Okay.
How to break strong habits that are formed over time, especially with regards to food and nutrition.
Okay.
I think it will make a lot of sense for our viewers.
Yeah, it will.
And myself. Yeah.
Duly noted.
Don't shout too much. Thank you so much. So, yes, that's all time will allow us for this really important conversation we had with our guest, Gloria Darko, on the topic cardiovascular nutrition. Basically,